Welcome to a new video of Algeria's history and culture. In the Middle East, women wear the hijab or the niqab, the veil. But Algerian women wear their own hijab, which is called the Haik. The word is borrowed from the Arabic word haka, which means to weave. It consists of a rectangular length of fabric, 6 meters long by 2 meters wide. It's rolled up, then held at the waist by a belt, and then brought back on the shoulders and head, then folded over just so that the face is seen. It can also be accompanied with a small triangle of embroidered lace that is nicknamed lajar, which partially masks the face. This is an old book about the Arabic dialect of Algeria in 1891. In the letters section, and precisely the letter T, you can find in the notes a way of teaching children how to say it. It says in the end of a word, the T is called mshimmel, mshimmel meaning enclosed. Given the example, the hayek, which they turn around their heads and twist, we say ishtamala in Arabic, meaning the hayek is brought from the right side to the left, like the letter T in Arabic, which comes from the right side and turns into the left. Then it twists above the line like the hayek. You need to know that hayek is worn by women all over the Maghreb region, or in English, the West Arab world. For example, in Morocco, the oldest documentation is in 1699 in a French review by Mercure Galland. But there's actually an older documentation which goes back to 1668 in German, which speaks about the Kingdom of Fas, or the old nomination of Morocco, but it speaks about a hayek worn by men, not women. And here's another book in 1693 confirming that it's a men's clothing. There are other documentations where you can find the hayek, or the women's one, in other countries like the West Sahara, or Libya, or Tunisia. But the oldest documentation of women wearing the hayek is in Algeria, in a book from 1663 that describes in detail Algiers women wearing the hayek. It says, they all hide in the means of a black, purple or white cloth, which is very large. They squeeze it with their hand on the mouth, having the face free up to the forehead. It's long and reaches the floor in the back, rolling up the front by the hand. And the writer even gives a figure representing women wearing the hayek and writing on it, Algerian women going out in town. Here's another documentation in Spanish, older than the previous one by 80 years. It cites, Algiers women go out of their houses wearing bright white covers that reach up their black leather shoes, which is what is called hayek. This is in chapter 32 of Customs and Clothing in Algeria, which was written by a Spanish prisoner, Diego Hadeo, between 1578 and 1581. This book was published in 1567, but which was practically finished or completed in 1551. It says, in Algiers, women wear a soft black, white or purple scarf that covers the body and head, and he gives this figure next to the description. So we can therefore say that the women's Haik has been documented in Algeria since 5 centuries at least. Then it appeared as a men's one in Morocco. Then the women's one spread to all North Africa. Of course, we need to mention that Haik has older documentations going back to the fall of Muslims in Grenada. And there are many paintings where it shows women in Grenada wearing the Haik. So Algerian women wearing the Haik is the result of Andalusians, many of them fleeing Spain to Algeria by Algerian ships. Now that we know for sure that Haik is of Andalusian Algerian origin, let's see its types. There are several types of Haik across Algerian regions, and it's worn in different ways depending on the region. The most famous and valuable one is called Haik Mrema in Algiers, the capital. It's woven of pure silk and stripped with gold and silver threads. In the south of Algeria, we find Milhfa, or especially in a town called Gardaya, we call it Bouawina, which means the one eye, because women don't show their face, they only show one eye. In the Kabylie region, it's called El Haf. In Tlemcen, the Algerian west, it's called Haik Lashashi. In addition to Haik El Ksa, which is yarned with fine wool, there was also the Haik, which is made of silk and tulle that the bride wears in the eve of her wedding. And finally, Mlaya, or black Haik, which is worn in the eastern Algeria and specifically a town called Constantine, where after the governor's death, Saleh Bey, in 1792, bereaved women have chosen to wear it in black instead of white to honor their mourning. The Haik was represented a lot by Orientalist painters and writers of the 19th century. The veil has been an object of intense fascination. Many pictures of harem beauties gazing longingly at the windows in hope of being rescued from their confinement. Some of these painters had never even been in Algeria and relied on powerful erotic charge to sell their paintings. Truth is that the Haik afforded an amount of autonomy to Algerian women so that they would go about their business and visit their family and friends and lead a busy social life, while still adhering to social and religious conventions of the time. This image reported by travelers to Algeria during this period is at odds with that of the prisoner of the harem, so beloved of popular Western literature. In the French colonial period of Algeria, the Haik played an important role in the Algerian War of Independence. Both male and female freedom fighters wore the Haik to disguise themselves when smuggling arms, food, or other supplies through French army security controls. Once this was detected by French military, female fighters decided to wear European clothes instead, so that they could pass unnoticed through French checkpoints and plant explosives in and around the center of Algiers. After these urban bombing campaigns and their aftermath came to be known, many attempts of colonial propaganda aimed at exposing Algerian women and separating them from their religion and culture. Many of them were forced to unveil, but Algerian women continued to wear Haik proudly, determined to face the colonial oppression and defend their culture and heritage. Nowadays, the Haik and Ajar are rarely seen in the streets, except by older women or in special occasions like weddings. However, there are campaigns to bring back the authentic Algerian veil to replace the hijab and niqab and jilbab, all imported by the Middle East. Many women wore the Haik during weekly manifestations in 2019, and they still do every year in the 5th of July to always remember this piece of clothes that was part of the Algerian independence. Let me know in the comments section if you have any other information about the Haik, and I hope this was an addition to your historical knowledge, and see you in another video.